Hello and welcome to Building Tech Sales Academy in public for another week. My name is Jameel Raymond. I'm the founder of Tech Sales Academy, and it's an absolute pleasure to have you here, as always. What have I been building at Tech Sales Academy in the last week? Not a lot, to be honest. You know, I talked to you guys last week about just being exhausted, man. Just absolutely exhausted from moving house over the last week. I had not really had any proper days off over the last few days. So Friday and Saturday and Sunday, we just spent pretty much vegging out as much as I can. Now, unfortunately, life stuff got in the way during that weekend. Like, realistically, guys, just being honest with you guys is that right now I'm in it, right? I'm in it mentally, physically. Well, not physically, but really mentally at the moment with everything that's going on. And they're just realistically, there is not much of a reprieve of the current state of where I'm at with the whole family and personal situation until like mid-December. And then maybe, hopefully, this is completely done with by about March. So there's just a lot of insecurity going on. And this is something I didn't think I'd be sharing so publicly. That's the whole point of this thing. And I'm not ashamed of it. I think it's very important to talk about our challenges, our vulnerabilities, because that's who we are as human beings. We as a collective in society, we're sick of hearing all the facade and all of the veneers of everything's great and everyone's building things and it's all successful and life is okay. Life is often not okay. And, to accept, we're going to get a lot more understanding as a people, as a collective, as a society, once we embrace and broadcast our vulnerabilities and our scars and imperfections more because, there's a great book, which I'll talk about some great books in a minute, called The Myth of Normal by Dr. Gabor Mate, where he talks about, the concept of normal is a myth. This heterogeneous society that we've created is the veneer of media and culture and keeping up the appearances of people. But it's not real, is that we've all got our challenges, our traumas, our damages, and something I haven't really talked about much in the last few episodes is about the self-improvement, the mental health, and the transformation stuff, which I will include soon. But yeah, it's just being upfront and going, hey, it's not all sunshine and rainbows here, folks. And anyone that is building with success, I would, hats off to them if they're actually absolutely crushing it. But there is just a period of time where you are eating absolute shit, as like Elon says, staring into the abyss and chewing glass for quite a period of time. And you got to accept that. And I think that would be fine. It's relatively fine when it's just one degree of your life, but I feel like I'm just chewing glass in every dimension of life. And this is not a sympathy play. This is not, feel sorry for me or anything like that. It's just reality. This is the truth. This is me being honest and authentic as fuck about going, yeah, man, like this, where I'm at is a slog. It's a fucking slog. And I'm trying to do everything I can to pull myself up, pull the plane up from nosediving daily at this point. So, and that impacts things like, the launch, when I'm recording this on the Monday, 28th, the official launch of the Account Executives Toolkit is tomorrow. And am I super proud of what I've created? Yeah, I'm absolutely so proud of what I've done here. I genuinely believe that it's going to change people, and I think it's going to create impact, and I think it's really going to help my community and the people that that get into it. But the energy and the enthusiasm, to spruik and throw it out into the world right now, yeah, I don't have it. I don't have it. And that's been weighing on my mind a lot over the last few days, is that, yeah, like I've created something that I'm really excited about and proud of, but yeah, it's just not there right now. And that's not to say that the product is bad or there's a pre-launch going on now and whatever sales come through because I'm just, I have to consciously not put self-value into that right now because I need to preserve who I am and my, and not fall into the trap of external validation through sales and whatnot right now, because, the mind is vulnerable. The mind is quite vulnerable. And yeah, it's just like, this is pushing the rock up the hill in business and in life. And I don't want to shy away from it. I do not want to shy away from these struggles in public either. Is because we need to see this. We need to see more of this out in the world, because that is the stark reality. There's a huge disconnect between the facade of social media and the reality of life. And I think the people that I'm trying to, connect with, address the world to, we get that. We get that. And most of my work as a mentor or a coach or someone that's developing someone is about being that catchment for my students and mentees' vulnerabilities, and creating that space to, for people to express that vulnerability without judgment, because that's what we need to do as a collective, is be able to share our vulnerabilities, share our problems, express that, and let the loving space and the caring space of supportive people heal that and open that and accept that. And that's a powerful tool, right? And that's what most people are missing nowadays in society, and missing a lot in mentorship as well, is having that trusted source, a trusted space, to get whatever brain vomit you've got coming out. What are those anxious thoughts that are rattling around in your head? This is a bit rambly, but this is who I am. But one of the things that often happens when people relate to what I'm doing here, particularly in the coaching side, is me just validating, ideas and concepts in their head of, should I really be doing this? Because no one's really given them the permission, or they haven't really seen examples of it in the world. And so by just going, yeah, that's what I do, or I'm here to say that's totally fine to do, there is growth and there is peace of mind that comes to a lot of people that I speak with, particularly lately, just going, oh, that is valuable, right? Just to be acknowledged and accepted, and not feel the inner sense of tension and conflict. It's powerful stuff. So for me, yeah, it's just like this. Yeah, that's just where I'm at. This is a bit of an emotional ramble, and not a rant, but just a current state of mind. And yeah, this is about being real with you folks. This is about being real. And in time, if you do ever come across my coaching, or we have a one-on-one session together, I am here to capture that. And as a leader in this business, it is up to me to first express the vulnerability and show it's okay, and be comfortable with that. Right? Most of my teachings come from healing of pain and my own learned experiences, and passing that on. So this is it, folks. This is it. Like, the course is out. When you guys see this, I'm proud of it. And there's a long game to be played here when it comes to building a business, releasing a product. So absolutely do check it out. Once I have the mental, emotional tank to take things further, and really spruik it and give it the energy it deserves, I will. But for right now, it's really about just keeping the brain above water, keeping my mental state above water, and focusing on the family priorities right now. So in the spirit of getting all of my books out on my bookshelf again, I thought I would share the 3 most important books that will help you in your technology sales career. Okay, so these are books that I have talked about often in the courses and some of my content, but I want to deep dive into the 3 most important ones, because everyone does books of like 5 or 10, but let's be real, you're not going to read them all. But I have read every book that I'm showing to you, and so I want to talk to you about why they're so important. Let's have a look. So book number 1 that is very important for you to read is Influence by Dr. Robert Cialdini. And why this book is so important is because it covers the essentials of being influential. There are 7 principles of influence that he talks about that are applied in every aspect of social marketing in general. Okay, things like unity, social proof, authority. I talk about these principles in depth in Tech Sales OS. And one of the things that's really important to understand is that technical people in tech sales have books and resources for the technology side of things. But we, as the people side of technology, don't have books or frameworks that understands humanity, psychology, etc. So that's why it is so important to read social psychology books and psychology books to understand the human mind and what influences human behavior. And these social principles, you'll see them everywhere. Reciprocity, social proof, there's so many out there that are just, again, the fundamentals, the principles that are applied at scale all the time. So something that's really interesting that he talks about this, he actually mentions salespeople in this, and he calls them compliance specialists, because that's what we really are trying to get, is compliance from our customers, that our solutions and what our offerings are working for them and that they comply with the information that they give us to make sure we're building the right solutions, making sure we are solving their problem most effectively. So really understanding those 7 social principles, really important, and starting to build a toolkit of the mental faculties that we have as human beings so we can be influential, and talk about the why behind the technology, not just about the how and the bits and the bobs. Make sense? Book number 2 worth checking out is called Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. A lot of people do recommend this book. It's a book about understanding negotiation. So Chris Voss was a former FBI negotiator, and he has a lot of stories around how he successfully negotiated people off, from terrorists to highly motivated, emotionally charged people. And there's something that's really important in this book called the Tactical Empathy Toolkit. And it's a collection of little tools and tactics that you use to generate empathy, right? When you are trying to connect with someone, you are trying to get as much unity as you can, that you're trying to make yourself as relatable and reduce the antagonism, the us versus them mentality. Because people that are often negotiating, especially in high stress situations, are emotionally charged about you seeing their point of view. And particularly when they are very emotionally charged, it's just really just a deflection of a frustration or anger or fear. It's very emotionally charged as opposed to having logic behind it. So particularly when you can empathize and reduce that stress, that stranger danger, that separation, using the tactics and the Tactical Empathy Toolkit, it is very influential in the way that you deal with customers. And again, this is something that I teach also, and I'll do a separate lesson on in Tech Sales OS in the Academy, is the toolkit. I do talk about some of the things that are here, and yeah, really, really useful to build rapport with customers early in conversations, or even if you do have to negotiate, or even potentially just hear customers out when they're really frustrated, using that tactical empathy to talk them off the cliff, so to speak, and get them less agitated and more aligned to who you are. Really powerful stuff, really useful stuff. So yeah, absolutely recommend getting this book. Check it out. Book number 3 worth checking out is less about sales, but just about general technology, philosophy, just a really good book for life, and that is The Almanac of Navar Ravikant. Now, Navar Ravikant is a billionaire investor. He invested in Uber and Facebook early in the day. He's been an angel investor for many years, widely regarded in the startup and tech industry as one of the greats. And this almanac is actually just a collection of his lessons and tweets and insights over the years, and just put into one book. And why this is really important, it's less about the sales element, and it's more about just understanding the modern economy that we live in, and the power of social media, and the power of building something. And I say this is the solopreneur's Bible. If you are an entrepreneur, this is an absolute must to read, because it really does give you the skills and formula to what building and creating something in modern society is now. Right? He says something that sticks in my head all the time. It says, if you can build and you can sell, you'll be unstoppable. Now, this book is largely divided into 2 parts. As you can see, it says it's a guide to wealth, which is about the business building part, and a guide to happiness, where he does go into things like meditation and mindfulness and really understanding how the inner workings of our minds works, because He might be a billionaire, but he's not actually necessarily happy. And a lot of the richest people in the world aren't, because they are, you know, still operating with troubles, pains, a chip in their shoulder inside their own mental state, the relentless pursuit of more. You know, the dopamine addiction that we've all got thanks to social media and just chasing the dragon of more. So really important book, not just for sales, but for life. Really, really recommend this book. Powerful stuff. Only like 20 or 30 bucks. Check it out. And yeah, those are the 3 books that I think are really essential for you guys to pick up and understand. You can get all of those for less than $30 on Amazon. That's it for this week, folks. If you want to support me, you know where to find me, techsales.academy. You can check that out there. Check out the Account Executives Toolkit, just everything you need to succeed as a tech sales AE for $249. It's an absolute killer. You've seen previous episodes on it. And yeah, that's it for this week. See you next. Ciao for now.